This is the Cade York Memorial Show. Welcome, Elliot. Welcome.
Well, thank you, John. Yes, this is a sad occasion. The Cade York era in Cleveland Browns football has apparently come to an end prematurely. A lot of fans, I've been arguing with on social media, they've been comparing him to Phil Dawson, which is sacrilegious enough. They've also been calling him the Cleveland Browns Justin Tucker. And I told one fan that anybody who compares him to Justin Tucker is going to make me throw up. I mean, the guy, Justin Tucker, of course, is the Baltimore Ravens future Hall of Fame kicker, if they ever put kickers in the Hall of Fame, which maybe they shouldn't do. But if they do have a Hall of Fame for kickers, Justin Kicker is the greatest Tucker of all time, perhaps.
You sound like me.
Yeah. The guy is just a phenomenal kicker, special teams player.
Yes.
And the thought that we would compare our guy to Justin Tucker just really made me feel ill. And I expressed myself and said that, look, just because he can kick a football a country mile does not mean that he is a complete special teams player.
Yeah.
And we're just way, way, way out of bounds on this issue.
Let's talk about what happened today, and I'll get right back to you just to let the fans know. So Cade York was released today, or was cut. I guess it hasn't actually been official until tomorrow, but he will be cut or released. And in turn, the Browns traded for Dustin Hopkins, a veteran, 32-year-old veteran who primarily has played with the Washington Redskins, a few other teams, and most recently with the Chargers out in Los Angeles. And so he's on his way out here. And
the Washington team, you're not allowed
the Washington Redskins, right? Yes, the Washington
put off the air. Come on, man.
Well, this is the Cade York Memorial Show. We are tidily appropriate.
It might be the John and Elliott Memorial Show if you're not careful.
That's true. So, I'm going to let you talk here. And just right now, Elliot, I've been ranting for the last week a lot on my show. And before the game, after this last post game, and, a lot of people have, and, Cade York, bless his heart. I hope the kid will probably, he just has a mental thing right now. And the Browns just can't afford to continue with that. But I know, Elliot, you've got some thoughts and ideas behind all this and how the Browns have handled this whole situation. And I'd really like to hear your take.
Well, rightly so. I've compared him to a certain quarterback the Browns had in the past. Cade York has done a lot to earn this type of attention for himself. I said that if Johnny Manziel were a kicker, he would act like Cade York has been acting, with all these tweets at halftime and self-aggrandizing statements. And he's really done a lot to anger the fan base and the sports writers and draw attention to himself. And if you're a hero and win games every week with your kicking, that's great. But if you're on a losing streak, the attention is negative, and this is what happens.
Yeah.
Now, I've made the point several times that I believe that kicking is all about learning to handle pressure.
Mm-hmm.
And I've compared it to being in the military, and I am an ex-military guy, and I can tell you that I was told that my commanding officers explained to us, to us recruits, that, we don't actually hate you, but we are going to put pressure on you so that you can learn to function under pressure.
Yes.
And that's all about what kickers need to do.
Now, I feel that way as a school counselor, but okay, back to you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You need to be taught how to function under pressure, man. And that's the way it is with a lot of the high pressure jobs that are available in the U.S. military. They do artificial things, make you do push-ups, and try to scare you, put you in,
what you're trying to tell me, Elliot, is I would never have handled that situation well. But
a lot of us are not able to do that psychologically. I'm not saying that just because I was in the military that I was fit to be a commander or a Green Beret.
yes.
or anything like that. But some people are able to thrive under pressure, and that they are trained to do that. Now, what the Browns have done, and this is not criticism of Cade York, but the Cleveland Browns, is that they have coddled their special teams players, and they have not brought in competition for them. And I think that's a mistake. Why don't we have 2 kickers and 2 punters in summer camp? Those are critical positions, and it wouldn't be there's no reason not to have.
Well, in this case too, Elliot, just as I'll budge in here just for a second here. Dustin Hopkins was in a competition with the kicker Dicker. Forget Dicker's first name, or out there in Los Angeles. And he lost the competition. Now here's Hopkins is a veteran, 32 years old. They brought in the other kid, and he outbid him, or outdid that work out there in Los Angeles, and thus he was traded. By the way, he was traded for a 7th round draft pick. Yeah. So but anyway,
more importantly, let's ask what a terrible thing happened out there in I was going to say San Diego, in Los Angeles. They got to reduce their salary cap because they have a younger player with a smaller contract. So they reduced the salary cap hit, and they got a draft pick because they chose to have competition at the position. Plus, they probably improved the performance of both of those kickers by putting them under competition. Competition is a good thing. It is not a bad thing. Cleveland has taken a position that if you have competition at the kicker or the punter position, those competitors are the enemy of the state, and you just can't have that. That's really a dumb thing. We had the same problem at quarterback for years and years, and I think it goes back to Vinny Testaverde and Bernie Kosar. That, oh my God, the backup quarterback is the enemy, and we've got to avoid having a backup quarterback. And if the backup quarterback has any sign of having any ability, we've got to get rid of him. Now, that's not the right attitude. Now, if you have, let's say you have, let's say 4 years in a row, you bring in a challenger at kicker, and he doesn't pan out, and you release him. Well, you've got now people out there in the NFL that might hit the waiver wire at some point, and these guys, you're friendly with them, their characteristics. And if you need to pick somebody up, if somebody has a pulled muscle or something, and you need to pick somebody up, who they are, and you can sign them. Now, all of a sudden you're in a panic mode. You don't know who you're going to get. And you have to wind up trading a draft pick. You don't know who you're going to get at the waiver wire.
So it was a year. It was a year ago, mid-season, and I know Steve Gill, our contributor with the Dog Pound South podcast, he mentioned this the other day on our show, that it was in that San Diego, or the Chargers game, that Cade York missed a couple of field goals in that crucial game that really the Browns could have won. And it was kind of the downfall, because he had been, Steve pointed out, 8 for 8 after he did make the game winning kick. Now, I don't know. I thought there were a couple games after the Jets, or after the Carolina game, where I thought Cade York got an opportunity or two. Like in the Atlanta game, I thought he had a chance to win it. And I thought there was another game where he had an opportunity to win it with a late, maybe the Browns just didn't get into position to kick the field goal. But I thought he was in at least one of those games where he was in position and missed it. But I might, for whatever reason, he, that was kind of the Chargers game. And it's funny now because Dustin Hopkins was with that Chargers team. Now he's going to be with the Browns, and he's an 85% lifetime kicker. He's solid from inside the 40-yard line, outside the 40, between 40 and 49. I think they said he's really good. I can't tell you per se what the percentage was, but it was much higher than what Cade York's would be. So anyhow, back to you on
Well, Cade York does have, great strength, and has got, probably, let's say, top 5 in terms of range. He has one of the, let's say, I forget, the first game that he won was one of the top 10 longest field goals in NFL history.
Yes.
And so his highlight reel begins and ends with his first game-winning kick.
Yes.
And then, he got progressively worse as the season went on. So I don't know whether, success got to him or whatever. I think the thing that made me the maddest was when he showed up the coach, where he had the opportunity to try to win a game with an NFL record field goal. And he was going into histrionics on the sideline.
Yeah, he tends to have done
for on fourth down. I did not like that one little tiny bit.
Yeah,
I think a rookie field goal kicker ought to shut up.
Yeah,
and come to kick when he's asked to, and he has no business demanding that he be allowed to kick a field goal and show up his coach. We don't need that kind of
and as a
nonsense.
history lesson. I mean, a lot of these players, these kickers that we're talking about right now, like Justin Tucker, these guys have not necessarily come into the league gangbusters. It's taken a while to become a Justin Tucker. Justin Tucker he made some misses and wasn't as solid as he is now with the Ravens. So Cade York has a good leg. Could the Browns bring him back? Potentially he was released, or he will be. If he gets through waivers and whatnot, or team doesn't pick him up, he could come back to the Browns, maybe give a little bit more competition, and we'd be talking again about Cade York. But anyway, I digress.
Well, yeah, it's certainly true that kickers get better just like everybody else does with experience. But let's talk about Justin Tucker.
Yeah. Okay.
What did Justin Tucker do as a rookie? He
Not
was
very good.
30 for 33 with a
Okay.
field goal percentage of 90.9%.
Overall? Okay.
That's correct. 90.9%.
Wow, okay.
Now, his longest field goal was only 56 yards.
Okay.
Okay. And from the 50, he was 4 for 4.
Wow.
That's not Cade York.
No.
Cade York was not as good.
Cade York was 4 for 9 in the preseason. So
Cade York, let's just run the numbers. The Cleveland Browns, Justin Tucker, was 24 for 32 for 75%.
Yes.
Now, I used to be a math teacher, so please trust me that 75% made is a lower number than 90.9%. Trust me on this, Browns fans. I know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Okay. And then from 50 and longer, let's see, what do we got here? And I'm looking this up on the computer. From 50 and longer, he was 4 for 7. Okay. That's not as good as 4 for 4. So the Browns' Justin Tucker was not as good as the Ravens' Justin Tucker as a rookie.
Okay, Elliot. Hey, we're going to pause for a quick break. When we get back from the break, we're going to talk a little bit more about this Cade York being cut by the Brownies. We're going to look at a few other situations that have happened today with the Browns, some more releases, and talk about that and some other moves around the league. We're going to break here. This is the Fanatical Elves Network. We are having our Cade York Memorial Show. We will be right back. Okay, we are back here on the Fanatical Elves Network, and we are honoring Cade York. We're having the Cade York Memorial Show. And before we finish talking about Cade, I do want to talk, Elliot, about our new contest that we've been having with the Fans First Sports Network. I'm sure you love football, right, Elliot?
I do.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this podcast. Because
I'm an addict, as a matter of fact.
That's right. So if you are an addict, then you need to go. You need to go to our new contest with Fans First. They want you to go to contest, CONTEST.fansfirst.com. fansports.com. And if you fill out their form there, you get automatically signed up to potentially win 4 free NFL tickets to a week 1 game anywhere in the country, up to a value of $5,000 for those tickets. Fans First Sports Network, who we are part of the Fanatical Elves Network. Fans First Sports Network used to be part of SB Nation and Fox Sports. They've created this new podcasting platform, and they have some great affiliates across the country, from the San Francisco 49ers over to the let's see, we've got down there the Miami Dolphins affiliate. We've got the Pittsburgh Steelers affiliate. We got baseball teams from the New York Mets. So we've got affiliate NBA teams like the Golden State Warriors, the Cleveland Cavaliers. Anyway, they have this great contest that you can join. If you go to contest.fansfirstsports.com, you enter your name there, you automatically are entered to win 4 free tickets to a week 1 game. Those tickets will be announced, the winner. They're going to stop the drawing or stop the contest on September 4th, which would be Monday, Memorial Day, and they'll be announcing the winner, I believe, on September 5th. So a week from tomorrow, they'll be announcing the winner. So please join us. Go to contest.fansfirstsports.com. All right, so we're talking Cade York. I know, isn't that great?
Yeah, well, maybe we should move on from Cade York. Yeah. I think we made a point.
I think we've made enough.
I think Cade York does have potential. I just hope he learns from his mistakes. There are many of them. But I also think that the Browns are at fault. They set this up because they refused to set up competition for Cade York.
Yep.
They've coddled him and done everything that they've done basically for Johnny Manziel by providing too much soft treatment and not enough competition. And it's a mistake that they've made with kickers for the past 10 years. And it's just not the right way to handle the situation. So I don't necessarily even blame Cade York. I think they need to bring in kickers. There should be one on the practice squad. There should be 2 kickers in summer camp at all times. I think it's crazy. Just given the importance of a kicker, they score points, man.
Yeah.
So you can't have just one kicker. That's crazy.
Browns made a couple. Crazy. They made a couple more moves today. They were down to 76 yesterday. Made a few more additional moves today that included placing guard Drew Forbes on this reserve non-football illness list, and they also terminated the contract of guard Wes Martin. So those were a couple extra moves with the Brownies today. I also talked yesterday. I wrote for Northeast Ohio Sports Insiders an article about yesterday's. There were several players that were released or cut, and the Browns did make a trade for Pierre Strong Jr., who I love. This kid is from South Dakota State.
Yes.
And he was drafted by the New England Patriots a year ago in the 4th round. He had 10 carries for 100 yards a year ago. The big game was against the Arizona Cardinals in a game out there where he got the ball 5 times. He scampered for 70 yards. One of those included a 44-yard run. He also scored a touchdown in that game. So I'm excited. I've seen a lot of film on him. I studied him a year ago when the Browns were looking to draft players. The Browns drafted Jerome Ford instead. But Pierre Strong, and not knowing what Jerome Ford is going to do with this hamstring injury, I like the move by the Browns and wanted your take on that and any of these other moves that we've seen the Browns make over the last couple of days. And by the way, tomorrow, it's Tuesday, is at 4 p.m. is the deadline to have the team's roster down to 53. So by my math, we're still around 72 or 71 players. So the Browns have got to do something with about 15 or 20 players. Anyway, Elliot.
Yes. Yeah, I think there'll be a lot of bloodshed tomorrow, obviously. Pierre Strong is somebody that the Browns needed. Browns were desperate for depth. This is another fight that I've been waging. My own soapbox was that the Browns did not have a replacement for Kareem Hunt. I think that Jerome Ford is promising, but he only had 12 yards from scrimmage last season.
Right.
And that's not really, that's not a knock on Ford, but that's not a proven commodity. I think he's a prospect. It's like a kid that has hit 300 at AAA in baseball. And yeah, we think he can play, but we're not sure that he can play.
Right.
And, Pierre Strong is also a pretty good prospect. And maybe, between the two of them, we hope that.
I mean, he had 5,000 yards in college. He was he played 4 years there with the Jackrabbits. Love that logo and that nickname for the San Diego State.
And he's got 4.37 speed in the 40-yard dash. He's got some measurables there.
Yeah, I thought the Browns were going to pick him up. When that draft happened, I think he was drafted after Jerome Ford. I think he was still available. No, he was already gone. New England picked him up beforehand.
He was picked up in the 4th round. And
when did we get Jerome Ford?
5th round pick.
Oh, okay. I thought Ford was a 4th round pick for the Browns.
But New England has a lot of running backs, and so Strong. There just wasn't enough roster space for New England.
Yeah.
So he was kind of.
What do you think of these other moves? I know you and I were talking off air about Drew Forbes, and also the other. Other
Forbes will not be on the 53-man roster.
Yeah.
So. So he's just sort of not there.
Yeah. And they can hide him. We were saying like for 4 weeks that they put him on that injured.
Yeah. I'm not really. I'm a little bit confused about why that's permitted, but it is permitted. He had a back injury during practice, and so I don't really understand why that isn't considered a football injury and why he isn't subjected to waivers. Nevertheless, he is not subjected to waivers, and I don't think anybody would pick him up if he were. And I think
the other player that was released was Dunn. Was it the offensive lineman or deep? No, he was offensive.
Yeah, I think he'll be on the practice squad. I did not think that he was a threat to be picked up on waivers anyway. Okay. I do not think he will not be picked up by another team. I don't believe.
No,
he's valuable. He can play in the NFL, but I don't believe that another team will claim him.
Let me ask you this question. This is a question about a veteran on the team that I talked a little about yesterday in one of the articles I wrote about Denzel Ward. I believe it's this 4th or 5th known concussion. And again, I guess supposedly he hadn't played in any preseason games the last couple seasons, but they tried it this time and he got dinged up. There's a genuine concern out there. He's supposed to be going his 2nd year into this extension of a contract, and yet he continues to be hampered by these concussions. And you get 4 or 5 of these. That does not bode well. I wanted your thoughts on Denzel Ward and where you think this ends up. Do we just continue to do what we've been doing with him?
Well, the thing is, he has a very large contract.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of funny things that happen at this time of year. It's possible that there could be some salary cap moves for players that have big contracts. It would not shock me if there's a trade involving someone like Denzel Ward that doesn't seem to make any sense, that we would not get any kind of return for Denzel, but they might clear some salary cap if they can move him.
Yeah,
like trade him for like a 6th round pick or something like that. That kind of trade would not make sense in terms of ability.
Yeah.
But it might make sense in terms of clearing cap room. So I think something like that could.
I just remember going back.
Get made around the NFL, but
when he's been on the field, especially that rookie year or two, I think he started back in 2017. Didn't he? Or 2018 with Baker?
2018.
2018. I
believe. He's been really good. Last year he was not very good.
I guess, but he's been injured. Even back then, I can recall listening to other folks in sports radio talking about Denzel. And if you look back, even 2018, 2019, 2020, there's always been something.
He's been injured, and he's, the role that he played last season, I don't know if they were trying to make him into Troy Polamalu and trying to have him go for interceptions all the time or what. but I do know that he was running the wrong way on a lot of plays. I'm just not a good X's and O's guys.
Yeah.
But I know that he was exposed.
So
not in terms of ability, but I'm literally running the wrong way and not covering the guy that was getting the ball. And I think that was evidently part of the play, that he was trying to get an interception and gambled and lost a lot, basically.
Yeah. So let's talk about a player that's not quite in the same category as Denzel, but I know you're probably sad about this too. Anthony Schwartz was released, the wide receiver that just never could get it in gear.
Well, no, wait a minute. Was he released? What was his?
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Let me look up his status.
Yeah, he was released. Or he was released injury designation, but he was released yesterday.
Well,
that was the big news. Yes.
I think injury designation, I think that means that they intend to put him on the IR if he clears waivers. Isn't that what that means?
Potentially, maybe. Yeah. So
I don't think that means that they want to get rid of him. I think that means that they want to.
Well, he was on the release list.
Keep him.
Okay, on the Browns list yesterday on their website, they shared like 9 players that were being released or cut, and his name was listed in that group, and it's listed as Anthony Schwartz, and then in parentheses it says injury designation. So there might be a little bit more to that. Could they bring him back in the practice squad? Sure. Maybe that's what, like you said, they're trying to do.
Yeah, I'm not sure. To be honest, I just really don't understand what the injury designation means, whether that means that they're going to put him on the injured reserve if he clears waivers, or what that means. But in any case, I think that they might be interested in.
We're going to have a lot more. We're going to have a lot more to talk about tomorrow. We're going to provide another show at some point tomorrow. The 53-man roster will be coming out. I know Elliot and Joel have their Brownie Act show that will be coming up later this week. They'll be bringing you, more updates and analyzing kind of what has happened this week and tomorrow. I'm sure we're going to have some surprises and some things that go on tomorrow that we don't know today. And so we'll be excited to bring that to you.
No, I've predicted everything in advance.
Yeah. Okay.
Actually, what I want to have happen is I'd like to pick up a field goal kicker on the practice squad. Make me happy, Browns.
Yes.
Get some competition. I mean, it's really too late for Cade York. It would have helped him a lot if you had just provided a competitor to keep him on the straight and narrow.
Yeah.
And that would have helped him more than anything. The attempt to coddle him and prevent him from being pressured did the opposite of what you intended to do. That was just dumb, to try to protect him from pressure. It doesn't work. He's got to just learn to deal with pressure, bring in a competitor for a kicker, and have somebody available at all times to be a second kicker to provide competition. It's good for him.
Yeah.
Good for the team. And kickers score points. You got to have one. You got to have 2.
Yeah. Well, Elliot, I appreciate you being on tonight. This is our Cade York Memorial Show. And we are happy that we're sad, but we're happy that you're here with us, Elliot. And we like to bring you all the up-to-date news here on the Fanatical Elves Network. We will be on again soon, so stay tuned. Follow us on Twitter or the new X, Facebook, TikTok. We're on YouTube, so follow us along. Hit that subscribe button and follow. And we'll hope to talk to you very soon. Go Browns. Cade York has been cut by the Browns. We'll have more news in the coming days. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Tuesday, the Browns are supposed to get down to their 53-man roster. Elliot, appreciate your time tonight.
Yeah, good luck, Cade. Hope that it works out better for you next time. Learn from the experience.
All right.